Okay, MegaWhale team, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you're all having a fantastic day today. In today's video, we are diving deep into the charts, discussing exactly what needs to happen for Bitcoin to continue higher and what will need to occur for Bitcoin to correct. We are going over all possible scenarios, leaving you with an exact plan as well as a deep understanding of not only the short term, but the macro charts. Before we get into it, smash that like button, hit that comment button, and subscribe to the channel. We post daily videos of Bitcoin focusing on the facts, the data, the technical, and the structural information. No hype, no BS, no emotion, pure raw TA. If that is the kind of content you are interested in, join us on Telegram. It is the first link down below. You'll get access to charts, updates, videos, educational posts, news events, and everything you need to stay in the loop with cryptocurrency with Bitcoin and the relevant economic news. And if you are interested in taking your trading to the next level, join us in VIP. We post trading setups with exact entries, exact targets, exact stop losses, trade justification, exclusive analysis, and so much more, including access to all of our group chats, our general chat, our trading chart and education chat, our trade setup, our news, our help, and our daily video chat. Check it out, guys. If you're interested in joining nearly 700 members, contact me via the pinned comment in the free channel by clicking my name or these links for more information. Let's go ahead and jump on into the video. So as we can see, Bitcoin is still struggling to clear that range high, and we can take a look at our total market cap. We can see the total market cap on the left showing that cryptocurrency as a whole is still in this macro descending channel. We had Bitcoin break above the channel high, but cryptocurrency, the total market cap, is still showing us that we are in this macro downtrend. We are still within this macro descending trend line. So we do need to break above this region for cryptocurrency to officially tip in favor of the bulls. On the short-term price action, it does appear Bitcoin has developed yet another horizontal chop range. We're going to be taking a deep dive into this today, discussing the next potential moves and exactly what Bitcoin actually will need to do to continue higher or lower within this range. But it does appear we have retested that horizontal high, establishing this equal resistance over here at 67,400, and we could potentially see a sweep of these lows on the short-term charts. Moving over to the market data, the DXY is still very much moving towards this upper region. If we zoom out to the weekly over here, and this is a chart we generally go over every single day, we talked about the possibility for a sweep back into this 100 region, and we discussed for that to occur, we need to see that weekly candle close back below this horizontal resistance. Now, we did not see that occur. The weekly is most likely closing and is going to open above that horizontal resistance, and therefore we actually do run the risk of the DXY slowly creeping back upwards to this 105 to 105.5 region over the next coming weeks. So now, if the DXY is rising, generally the dollar is increasing in value against assets. We do generally see asset markets decrease, and this could pose a bit of a threat for Bitcoin short-term price action moving into the election, which is at the start of November. Something to consider. And anyway, guys, if we do drop back below here, we are expecting corrections. While we remain above here, we expect continuations upward. Moving over to the S&P 500, again on the weekly, not too much change. We can see we have potentially created a short-term top over here with a bearish engulfing candle printing. Now, this is a very small bearish engulfing candle, but it is a bearish engulfing candle nevertheless, meaning the closing price was greater than the prior green candle's opening price. This does pose the risk of a correction back into the 5,700 region, particularly with the DXY moving toward the upside. Now, even if we do see that correction to 5,700, it is unlikely that that move will result in a macro continuation downwards, as this is going to be our weekly high, and only if we drop below this weekly high, so we print a candle something like this into the weekly high, then we would see a continuation to these yearly lows. Until then, we are expecting reversals to develop from here if retested, and if not retested, we could just see the price action sweep upwards. So we are bullish until we get that close under 5,700, under 5,680. Moving over, guys, to the market data really quickly. 24-hour volume down 30%, 78 billion. 24-hour liquidations down 84%, 63 million. Of course, entering the weekend, we do get a reduction in overall volatility and volume. And with that, 29 million in liquidations from longs and 34 million in liquidations from shorts. So that is it, guys. Let's jump into the crux of the analysis. Before we do, if you're interested in getting a lifetime trading fee discount of 15% off all your trading fees, sign up to BitGet, BitUnix, or BingX with the links down below. You can use my affiliate links down below to support me, support the content, and help yourself to that hefty discount. That discount will build up to a 45% trading fee discount based on your trading volume, which is absolutely game changing. Anyway, check it out, guys. We'll play an ad and we'll jump on in. I'd like to introduce our partner, BitUnix. BitUnix is a global non-KYC, no country restriction exchange, making it a perfect exchange to trade on if you're from the USA, from Canada, the Netherlands, or just prefer to trade without KYC. This exchange is a futures and spot exchange with over 200 different trading pairs and some of the lowest fees in the game. If you sign up with my link down below, you'll get access to 15% off your trading fees, as well as an exclusive reward center where you can claim up to a multitude in USDT prizes. So go ahead and sign up with my link down below for 15% off, and I'll see you in there. Okay, guys, let's go ahead and get stuck into it. We are starting on the short-term chart. So as we can see, Bitcoin has more or less been pushing sideways since that steep correction into 65,000. Now, if we zoom out to that daily chart again, we can see even though we had two very steep liquidity grabs, we were able to sustain above that daily high at 66.46. Now, this daily high is a level of absolute significance as it is now been flipped and tested as a critical area of support. A loss of this region opens up the possibility for this continuation into 63 to 64,000 and for the possibility for this RSI to even break this daily uptrend. Now, if we see that negative momentum flip, we run the risk of a steeper correction for Bitcoin that could potentially take us all the way into that $60,000 region. So we do need to really hold above this daily high if we want to avoid any downside risk. While we are above this region, there is a possibility we see continuations higher. If we drop below this region, the downside risk becomes favorable over the upside potential. So that is when we're looking to flip more bearish on the short term and even on this daily chart. But we'll come back to that in just a moment. Let's start on the short term charts over here. As we can see, that 66 point, or should I say, this horizontal region sitting at 66.5 is going to be established as our range low of this current price range. And we have our range highs sitting around 67,400. which we've had two retests. As we can see, we have been more or less pushing sideways. Now, with this sideways progressive price action since those massive liquidity grabs from the bottom, we have been seeing momentum generally increase. So we're seeing a slight increase in momentum as the price action has been pushing upwards. But even with this momentum significantly increasing, we can see these highs on the momentum has significantly increased. The price action was unsuccessful in breaking these prior high points. And this level is going to be a critical short-term resistance, which could facilitate a continuation higher, or at least into its prior area of liquidity if broken. So what are we seeing here? We're seeing the price action move upwards, but it is moving upwards in a position of weakness. It hasn't really got the strength behind it to clear these highs. We are more or less seeing some consolidation, which is representing a degree of exhaustion. Hence why, if we look at this horizontal region, we are more likely expecting a continuation to at least sweep these lows. Potentially, if this RSI breaks down, we may even run the risk of dropping a little bit lower here. Now, a drop back below this region could increase the likelihood of a proper retest or even breakdown of this horizontal high on the daily chart. Now remember, this price point is at 66,500. If we go to the short term, this price point is at 66,500. So the horizontal low of this short term channel lines up exactly with the daily high of our current high time frame daily support, meaning a loss of that horizontal low will subsequently result in a loss of that daily high, And that could significantly increase the probabilities of those continuations and corrections lower. We are talking about drops back into these strong lows. We are even potentially talking about full-blown corrections into these major prior areas of support, particularly looking at areas such as 63.5k to 63,000, where this POC and VRPV chunk is sitting. So it is not looking ideal for Bitcoin on the short term. In combination of this, we have seen a pretty bad candle over here, a massive wick toward the upside, rejecting on the 50 EMA. This is what we would call a gravestone doji candle, or more or less like a shooting star candle, as a gravestone doji has a smaller body. But nevertheless, it is an indication that during this 4-hour period, the buyers were unsuccessful in sustaining the price action, and the bears have significantly stepped back in, pushing the price lower. So for confirmation of lower prices, Bitcoin is going to need to break this low right over here at 66.5. Until then, we are in a horizontal region. We just discussed the risk of a correction. Again, I'll go over it one more time. If we do drop below 66.5, it is highly likely we see a correction into around 64 to 63.5. This is going to be a critical area of support. And by doing that, it is very likely the RSI will be retesting this major uptrend, meaning this will be a perfect opportunity to reload new longs. I'd be looking to reload new longs. But if we see the retest there and the RSI has broken this trend line, I would be looking for a steeper correction back towards the midline of the macro channel. Now, as we have said many times, only upon the loss of this daily uptrend right over here, only upon the loss of the daily uptrend and invalidation of the structure we have been developing, which is again our lows, our higher lows, our higher lows, our highs, our higher highs, our higher highs, only a loss of this low at 59,000 would turn this trend bearish. So Bitcoin could see a correction all the way down to 59,000 and still be high time frame bullish. And again, we can confirm that using our macro indicators. Our weekly Gaussian channel and weekly Ichimoku cloud are suggesting only a break of 59,000, only a break of the midline of the channel, which subsequently results in a break of that prior higher low. Do we turn weekly bearish? Until then, Bitcoin is weekly bullish, but it runs the risk of major short-term corrections we have to be very much aware about. Because if we see these short-term corrections, altcoins are dropping. Now, I will share some of my positions in a second. I am in Ethereum short. So over here, we took about $1 million position on Ethereum in short. We're up a little bit over here on Bitcoin. I took an $800,000 position on Bitcoin and a $100,000 position on Solana. Again, we are hedging short here. Again, we're only risking a small amount of the profits we've made during this week, but we're looking for these moves towards these range lows while these range highs are able to sustain. If we break these range highs, then we're flipping bullish in the short term. So let's talk. If this range high is able to break, we expect two things. Number one, we expect an attempted continuation higher. And I'll say attempted continuation because the continuation higher will be attempted while this area of liquidity remains. So if the price action pushes into this liquidity, we are looking for ejections from here. But if we are able to break above 67,800 and clear this area of liquidity, we then expect continuations back upwards. We are looking into 68,000, 68,800. If we zoom out to the hourly chart, guys, right over here, let's do an hourly chart. We can see as a consequence of pushing to 68,800, the break of the downtrend right here will occur. And the break of this downtrend is what is required for this consolidation to end and for Bitcoin to continue into 70,000. So that is exactly how we're playing it. We're looking for corrections here. We're aware of if these corrections play out, the high time frame charts are at risk of steeper corrections, but we are also aware that if these price actions are able to clamber upwards a little bit, break out of this horizontal range, we have these trigger points, particularly in the higher time frame at 68,800, 67,000, and of course this macro downtrend, where if we are able to break through these regions, we are expecting those macro continuations. So to summarize everything, the price action is moving sideways. The sideways price action at the moment is showing more signs of weakness than it is strength. Until we are able to clear the upper levels of liquidity that are acting as major suppressing points for Bitcoin, the risk of continuations below 65.6 thousand, which will result, or 66.5 thousand, which will result in extended high time frame corrections to 63, are present. And while that is present, it doesn't necessarily mean it is likely it's going to occur. We have to be aware of that possibility and that possible scenario to play out. Now, with that being said, there are invalidations for this, and we also know that if it does occur, we know the high time frame implications of that. We know that even if we see that correction, it is unlikely that it will result in an impact on the major macro structural trend that has been developing over the past 2.5 months, unless one of those higher lows are taken out, and those weekly charts from a technical perspective invalidate their major indicators on the Gaussian channel and the Ichimoku cloud. That is how we're playing it, guys. I'm not going to get into any more. Let's quickly jump over Bitcoin dominance. Dominance is not really doing much. Again, I don't really feel the need too much more to talk about Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance is flying. Some really crazy price action in Bitcoin dominance, and alt season is basically nowhere to be seen unless this trend line breaks. If this trend line breaks, I will be massively flipping most of my positions to altcoins, meaning I will probably no longer be trading Bitcoin that much. I'll be trading much more altcoins when this trend line breaks. And if the trend line breaks while the total market cap has flipped this trend line, and if it is broken while the total 3 is continued upwards through its major resistance at 650 billion, well, then I might consider loading up some more spot bags. But that's another story, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Have a fantastic day. We'll catch you in the next video tomorrow. See you then.